Jai to all and welcome to your own YouTube channel MND The Futurists. Thank you for your viewership as one of the audience has also placed their valuable feedback to make a video on Arakan army. Now India's northeastern region shares a border with Myanmar, making the situation in Myanmar particularly relevant for India's national security. Now, recent developments, including attacks by the Arakan army in Bangladesh, have raised concerns due to Bangladesh being a neighbor to both India and Myanmar. Now, in a stunning turn of events, the Arakan army has gained prominence to the forefront of Myanmar's conflict, leaving many analysts scrambling to reassess the situation. Now, initially, all the eyes were on Chin and Shan states as the likely first to break free, but the Arakan's army relentless onslaught in Rakhine has dramatically shifted the focus, with their offensive reaching as far as the Teknaf River bordering Bangladesh. Now, this unexpected developments they have significant implications for the region. Now, as the conflict escalates, the international community is taking notice. India, China, and Bangladesh are all being drawn towards this conflict with the potential consequences for regional stability. In this video, we will see how Arakan army is changing the dynamics in this region. Now, Myanmar has been in a stance of chaos since the military coup in 2021. In fact, February 1st, 2025 will make 4 years since the military takeover of Myanmar led by Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, while the ethnic armed organizations, we will call them EAOs, have made significant gains against the Tatmadaws, controlling a staggering 60% of the territory. A crucial fact remains overlooked. Now, despite their territorial advances, the EAOs still don't control the majority of the population, which remains under the Tatmadaws rule. Now, this paradox raises important questions about the future of Myanmar's conflict. Now, what does this mean for the country's stability and the prospects for peace? Historically, when we glance, Operation 1027 was a game changer in Myanmar's conflict. Launched by the Three Brotherhood alliances, comprising the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance, then Tang National Liberation Army, and Arakan Army. This operation marked a significant shift in the balance of power. The process of Operation 1027 brought China's temporary support for these ethnic armed organizations to light. Now, China's backing was not surprising given the MNDAA's leader influence in the region. A second Operation 1027 was launched in June despite China's opposition. Now, this move indicates that these AOs are not entirely under China's control, adding a complex layer to the conflict. Now, the key players have been Three Brotherhood alliances, MNDAA, Tang National Liberation Army, and the Arakan Army. Now, when we talk about China as a key player, temporarily supported the EAOs but opposed the second Operation 1027. The third key player is Myanmar, military junta, lost ground to the EAOs but remained as a significant force in the conflict. Now, China's stance on the Myanmar military coup in 2021 was initially ambiguous, but things took a dramatic turn when the conflict between the ethnic armed organizations and the Tatmadaws spiraled out of control. Now, China began backing the junta's offensive against the EAOs primarily to safeguard their own investments in Myanmar, including oil and gas pipelines and the port and the BRI Belt and Road, their own Belt and Road initiative. Now, China's concerns about its assets being harmed due to their army's inability to protect them led to a significant shift in its stance. Beijing sent special envoy to negotiate with several EAOs, including the TNLA, MNDAA, the United Vast State Army, and the Kachin Independent Army. Interestingly, China's pressure tactics seemed to work as the NDA announced it would no longer support the national unity government and would cease fighting the junta. Now, this development highlights China's growing influence in Myanmar conflict and its willingness to take bold steps to protect its interest. Now, in the midst of Myanmar's ongoing conflict, the Arakan army has emerged as a dominant force, catching the world's attention. Now, with over 6,000 soldiers in northern Shan state and 50,000 in Rakhine, the Arakan army has launched a series of successful offensive against the Tatmadaw Myanmar military regime. Now, what have been the key victories? 13 townships in Rakhine. The Arakan army has captured a significant portion of Rakhine state, including the town of Palatwaya in Chin state. Then An and Western Command headquarters. The Arakan army recently seized An, which houses the Western Command of headquarters of the Myanmar military, along with most of the border guard police headquarters. Then the third victory has been the Arakan army captured Ta Hin Tuang, the operational command base guarding and took control of the highway, which is crucial for the troop transportation and even illicit income generation. Now, when we talk about the China's role, China's stance on the conflict has been highly complex. Initially, Beijing closed border crossings of Kia-controlled territories and gave shelter to 300 junta-signed border guard force soldiers. However, China's support for the junta has been evident in its efforts to break a ceasefire between the three brotherhood alliances and the military junta. The second aspect of the humanitarian crisis. Now, the conflict has led to a severe humanitarian crisis with over 3 lakh people displaced across Rakhine state and neighboring region. Now, the UN has reported that at least 200 civilians have been killed and nearly 600 wounded in the first 6 months of fighting Myanmar's conflict, which has taken a dramatic turn. Now, the military regime decision to cut off the fuel supplies of several states, including Kachin, Shan, Rakhine, and Chin, has had significant repercussions. In response, Beijing closed border crossing of all Kia-controlled territories, forcing Chin state to rely on India for its fuel. Now, meanwhile, China has also been playing a complex role in the conflict. On one hand, China gave shelter to 300 junta-aligned border guard force soldiers who had crossed the border after intense fighting in the region. On the other hand, China has been engaging with the ethnic armed groups, including the Arakan army, which has emerged as a major player in the conflict. So it's easy to understand China has only been in their interest, in their selfish interest. Now, the Arakan army has made significant gains, which I have already told, capturing 13 townships in Rakhine and the town of Palatwaya in Chin state. Now, the recent capture of An, which holds the Western Command headquarters of Myanmar military, has been a significant blow to the junta. Despite the Arakan army's significant gains in Rakhine state, key strategic areas, including the state capital, Sitwe, remain under the control of Myanmar's military junta. Now, Sitwe is crucial to India's Kaladan multi-modal transport project, we call it KMTTP, and the Steve Port, which was inaugurated in 2023, is still junta controlled. Now, the special economic zone vital to China's interests also remains under junta control. The Arakan army continued success in Rakhine has caught observers' attention, particularly since their offensive have reached the Teknaf River, which marks the border between Myanmar and Bangladesh. Now, initially, analysts predicted that Chin and Shan states would break free at the start of the conflict, but the Arakan army's advancements, they have shifted the focus to Rakhine. Now, the advance of the Arakan army in Myanmar Rakhine state has also become a turning point in the country's conflict. China's role has been complex initially, backing the Arakan army and other ethnic armed organizations against the Myanmar army. However, as the conflict escalated, China shifted its support to the junta, fearing for its investments in Myanmar, including oil and gas pipelines and the port and the Belt and Road Initiative. Now, the Arakan army's advance has significant implications for this region, with Rakhine state potentially becoming the first to break free from the army's control. The Arakan army's success could inspire other EAOs to intensify their offensives. However, the situation remains volatile with multiple players involved and even competing interests at stake. Now, as the Arakan army continues to gain ground, concerns are growing about its ability to provide basic services and even the necessities to the areas under its control. Now, when we breaking away from the state administrative council, it's SAC, which is controlled by the military junta, would require the Arakan army to address significant economic challenges and looming threat of clashes between Rohingyas group like the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army ARSA. This instability has significant implications for India, which has strategic interests in the region, particularly in the Kaladan multi-modal transit transport project, that's KMTTP. Now, to protect its interest, India needs to establish contact with all active players, including ethnic armed organizations, EAOs, and engage in diplomatic efforts to promote regional stability. Then, China's role in protecting its assets in Myanmar offers valuable lessons even for India. Moreover, the success of international organizations like the Crisis Management Initiative CMI in mediating between these stakeholders, it highlights the need for India to adopt a proactive approach in coordinating with like-minded stakeholders or countries to achieve regional stability. Now, what are going to be the challenges of India? First and foremost, protecting strategic interests. India needs to safeguard its investments in the KMTTP and other projects in the region. Second is, of course, going to be promoting regional stability. India must engage with all stakeholders, including EAOs, to promote peace and stability in the region. Third, of course, going to be countering Chinese influence. Now, India needs to balance its relations with the military junta and EAOs while countering China's growing influence in the region. By addressing These challenges, India can definitely protect and must protect its interests, promoting regional stability in Myanmar. Now, it's a complex state of affairs, and we have tried to touch some pointers to make you understand, along with some historical facts, to make you understand about the what's happening in the Myanmar region. Do share your feedback in our comment section, and it's very valuable for us to know. Do like and share our channel. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.